Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at a story of redemption.
Ooh, redemption.
Yeah, you know how we love those.
Yeah.
Um, but this one's in the world of video games.
Oh,
We're
nice.
talking about No Man's Sky.
Oh, wow.
Specifically, a 2022 YouTube review from the awesome channel reachpool. Around No Man's Sky. I mean, big promises, huge hype,
Yeah.
and then, well, it didn't quite stick the landing at launch.
Right.
Kind of like Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah, it's fascinating to see because this review comes years after that initial disappointment.
Oh, really?
And what's remarkable is the reviewer is absolutely blown away by how the game has transformed.
So a quick recap for anyone who might miss the No Man's Sky saga.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a universe so vast, it's practically infinite, procedurally generated, meaning algorithms are creating all these planets, stars, creatures, everyone unique.
Wow.
Think of it like a universe-sized box of Legos.
Yeah.
But the game itself is building amazing creations for you to discover.
So the initial promise was that you could explore forever and each planet would be a brand new experience.
Right.
But as the reviewer highlights, that vastness actually created some early problems.
Hmm.
It made multiplayer nearly impossible.
Oh, really?
Finding your friends in a universe that massive was like winning the cosmic lottery.
And on top of that, a lot of players felt like the content itself was thin, repetitive. It was this beautiful, awe-inspiring universe, but kind of empty.
And that's where the reviewer brings up this idea of the Minecraft effect, which I think is really key for us to unpack here.
Okay.
They're comparing No Man's Sky to Minecraft, not in terms of the actual gameplay, but in the feeling both games evoke.
Yeah.
That sense of limitless potential of a world that's constantly evolving and surprising you.
So it's less about the specific blocks you're stacking in Minecraft,
Yeah.
and more about the feeling that you could build anything.
Exactly.
And what's interesting is the reviewer seems to have found that same feeling unexpectedly in No Man's Sky years after everyone wrote it off.
Exactly. And that's what makes this review so compelling. It's a testament to the power of continuous development and a passionate community.
Uh-huh.
Think about what keeps people engaged with Minecraft for years.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of endless possibility that you're not just playing a game, but you're participating in a world that's constantly expanding.
So how did No Man's Sky go from feeling empty to feeling like this universe of endless possibility?
Well, the reviewer dives into the mountain of content that's been added since launch.
Oh, wow.
And we're not just talking about little tweaks here and there. We're talking massive, fundamental changes.
Wow.
Imagine landing on a planet and realizing you can build your own base.
Okay.
With hydroponic gardens, landing pads for your customized starships.
Uh-huh.
Suddenly, that empty planet is brimming with possibilities.
So you're not just exploring anymore.
Yeah.
You're creating, shaping this universe.
Oh,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
already getting hooked.
Yeah.
But give me some specifics. What kind of cool stuff can you actually do in this revamped No Man's Sky?
Well, you can build bases on pretty much any type of planet you can imagine.
Wow.
From underwater bases to desert fortresses, each with their own unique challenges and resources.
Wow.
And then there are these missions, not just your run-of-the-mill fetch quests.
Right.
We're talking fighting giant sandworms, exploring derelict freighters.
Sandworms. It's epic in scale.
Okay, now I really need to see this. What about those spaceships? I remember those being a big deal back in the day, and I bet they've gotten some serious upgrades, right?
Oh, absolutely. The spaceship system is completely revamped. You've got different classes, stats, even visual customization.
Wow.
You can really make your ship your own. And collecting and upgrading these ships becomes a huge part of the gameplay loop.
So it's not just about having a cool ride.
Right.
It's about finding the perfect ship for your playstyle, your goals. I can see how that would add a whole other dimension to the exploration. And the reviewer actually mentions they're on the hunt for a very specific rare ship. That element of the hunt, the anticipation of discovery, just adds to the overall excitement of exploring this vast universe.
Okay, we've got diverse planets, epic missions, customizable spaceships. What else have they packed into this game? So we're talking base building, crazy missions, tricked out spaceships. But there's got to be more, right? What really brings this Minecraft effect to life in No Man's Sky?
Well, one thing the reviewer highlights is the depth of the game's systems, something I know you learners love to sink your teeth into.
Yeah, for sure.
And it all ties back to that procedurally generated universe we talked about.
Right.
It's not just about the look of the planets, it's how those algorithms create complex economies and relationships within each star system.
Okay, break that down for me. How does that actually work in the game?
Each star system has its own unique economy. Some might be tech-focused, others driven by trade, or even controlled by pirates.
Wow, so like a space pirate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And And this influences the prices of goods, the availability of resources, even the types of conflicts you might encounter.
Okay.
It's like stepping into a bustling marketplace, but instead of haggling over spices, you're trading rare minerals and advanced technologies.
So it's not just about exploring to find cool-looking planets. It's about understanding the dynamics of each system.
Hmm.
What's valuable, who's in control, what opportunities are there for a savvy space traveler.
Exactly. It's like investing in the real world.
Okay.
You have to pay attention to trends, understand supply and demand, and make calculated decisions.
Okay.
And your choices have real consequences.
Oh, really?
You might corner the market on a rare mineral and become a wealthy space trader. Or maybe you stumble into a system embroiled in a conflict and have to choose a side.
That sounds intense. So the universe feels alive. It's reacting to your actions. You're not just a tourist passing through, you're a participant.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This dynamic, ever-changing universe is also influenced by something called RNG, which stands for random number generation. Essentially, it's a way for the game to introduce unpredictability.
Okay, for the non-gamer folks out there, what does RNG actually mean in terms of the gameplay experience?
Think of it like rolling a dice. Every time you warp to a new system, encounter a new creature, or even discover a new ship, there's an element of chance involved.
So you're not guaranteed to find the exact same things in the exact same places as another player.
Exactly. Every player is going to have a unique journey. You might stumble across a planet with a breathtaking sunset and strange bioluminescent plants. Someone else might find a planet ravaged by storms populated by hostile creatures.
That's amazing. It really taps into that sense of wonder and discovery, like you're genuinely exploring an uncharted universe.
And it all contributes to that Minecraft effect, that feeling that the world is vast and full of surprises. You're not just following a set path, you're forging your own adventure, one that's shaped by both your choices and a little bit of cosmic luck.
I love that. It's like the game is constantly throwing you curveballs, keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
Speaking of curveballs,
Yeah.
every game has its flaws, right? Even with all these incredible updates, did the reviewer find anything to complain about?
Well, they do mention that the combat system still feels a bit clunky and buggy at times.
Oh, really?
It seems that even with all the work Hello Games has put into the game, some of those original issues haven't been entirely ironed out.
That's a shame. It sounds like those combat problems could take away from the experience, especially if you're someone who really enjoys that action element of gaming.
Right. It's a good reminder that even with all the praise, it's important to be realistic about a game's limitations. Not everything can be perfect, and No Man's Sky is no exception.
So even with those combat issues, what's the overall takeaway? Did the reviewer think No Man's Sky is worth checking out after all these years?
Absolutely. Despite those flaws, they describe it as a potential Game of the Year contender. They even compare it to finding their unexpected Minecraft effect. It's a testament to the developers' commitment to improving the game and listening to the community.
It really is a redemption story. And you know, it strikes me as so fascinating. It's not just about a video game getting better. It's about the power of keeping an open mind, of not dismissing something just because it had a rocky start.
It's a reminder that things can change, evolve, surprise us, and sometimes the things we initially write off can end up becoming something truly special, just like No Man's Sky.
Okay, before we get too philosophical here, there's one more thing I'm curious about. All this content sounds amazing, but doesn't it get overwhelming? Like, where do you even begin in a universe this massive? It's almost like they created this incredible sandbox and handed you all the tools, but then it's up to you to decide what you want to build, what kind of story you want to tell.
Right.
I could see that being a bit daunting for some players.
I can definitely see that. But you know what's interesting? The reviewer actually addresses that very concern. They talk about how No Man's Sky does a really good job of easing you into its complexity.
Okay.
There's a guided tutorial at the beginning that teaches you the basics of survival crafting and exploration. And then, as you progress, the game gradually introduces new systems and mechanics, so you're never completely overwhelmed.
Uh-huh.
It's like learning a new language. You start with the simple phrases and gradually build up to more complex sentences.
So it's not like they just dump you in the middle of this vast universe and say, good luck, figure it out.
Not at all. They do a great job of holding your hand at the beginning, but then they gradually let go, allowing you to discover and explore at your own pace. And that's what makes the game so rewarding. You feel a real sense of accomplishment as you master the different systems and become more confident in your ability to navigate this universe.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that true of so many things in life? We often shy away from things that seem complex or intimidating at first.
Right.
But if we take the time to break them down, learn the basics, we often find that they're not as daunting as we initially thought. Just like this reviewer discovered with No Man's Sky, what was once a source of frustration became a source of endless fascination.
It's all about perspective, isn't it? The things we might initially write off as too complicated or not for me might actually hold hidden depths and unexpected joys if we just give them a chance.
It's like they say, don't judge a book by its cover. Or in this case, don't judge a game by its launch.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole No Man's Sky story so inspiring. It's a reminder that second chances exist not just in video games, but in life as well. Sometimes the things we think are finished or past their prime can surprise us with their resilience and ability to transform.
So for anyone listening out there, we leave you with this challenge. What seemingly finished or disappointing thing in your own life might be worth revisiting? Maybe it's an old hobby you abandoned, a skill you thought you'd never master, or even a relationship that felt like it had run its course.
Just like the developers of No Man's Sky never gave up on their vision. Don't give up on the things that spark your curiosity, that ignite your passion. You never know what hidden depths you might uncover.
And hey, if you're looking for an adventure, maybe give No Man's Sky a try. It might just surprise you with its beauty, its depth, and its ability to transport you to a universe of endless possibilities.
Happy exploring!